Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Minecraft episode. Today is a little bit of a break from what we typically do, and that's because I wanted to explore and walk through a little bit of the creation process for a little project that I had. Now, back behind us here, we have a pretty standard 2x2 piston door setup. You're very familiar with this design. It's one of the oldest types of 2x2 piston doors out there. But I wanted to give it a little bit of a twist. So just so you're kind of aware, this design here, it's the standard design where you see these pistons retracting back sideways into the wall, and they take the blocks backward. Now, if we were to strip out the floor here, you would see there is a pretty standard setup for this. Of course, we have our 6-piece redstone square here, and then we have ourselves these lines that run up, so they run over one to power this block, which then deactivates this redstone torch here. That will cause this piston and the one above it to retract since this torch is powering the block immediately above it. And then we've just added a couple of other blocks in around this build for the aesthetic and filled things back in, and that's about as compact as you can make one of these 2x2 piston doors, at least from what I've seen. And these ones are really fun to make, but I want to play around with that mechanic a little bit more, and we'll be doing that right over here. So we have our 2x2 piston door that retracts 2 blocks to the side, but what I want to do is I want to have a formation where each block is removed in a different direction. So we'll have one block. Let's see. Let's try and make this at least in line with our other one. So that would be here. So this block will attract into the floor when fully opened. This block will retract over here to the left when opened. This block will retract over here. I think I've actually got to place that here. So this block will retract over to the left. So we've got down, left, right, and then the last one, of course. So these would be our 2 of the actual placement here. And then this would be, this block would retract up and be in a resting position here, which means that the block we're looking for is going to, or the piston we're looking for is going to be oriented like this. So let's try and work out what we need to do in order to get these blocks to behave as they're meant to. So first off, we'll go ahead and place our actual door here. And this is going to take a bunch of redstone jank here. So it'll be an adventure for me, and this is a good type of project to get yourself into if you're wanting to learn some more about redstone like I am. I'm not a redstone engineer by any means, but I would like to learn more about it as it's a really fun game mechanic here. So the first challenge that we have here is with the placement of this first piston, and this has to be oriented a little bit differently to the point where we're not going to have some redstone dust activating here, because that will play into how this piston operates. So let's think our way around this a little bit, and I think what we're going to need to do in order for this to work the way we want it to is we will have to move our pressure plates back a bit, and we'll need to run them around. So let's go ahead and do that same thing over here. And then if I'm not mistaken, if we fill this back in for demonstrative purposes here, we'll still have plenty of time to get through this door before it closes back up, just based off of how those pulses work. So let's go ahead and fill in these here. And we will need to route it around like that. So let's close this off now. And just to test our theory, Yeah, and we can even run into this and get through it just fine. So that takes care of the downward piston here. So what we'll need to do next is we need to worry about getting this piston powered, which we can do with a redstone torch like so. And then this is going to make this expand a little bit larger, because what I'm looking to do here is we can run this line up around here, and that should... Nope, it's not going to do what we need it to, actually, because this one needs to be outward and powered. But that will work for us. So we'll just need to run a secondary line up the top. All right, so this other lower piston was actually a little bit easier than I'm having time with this one. So we've got our loop that comes back around and depowers this redstone torch here for the piston down here at the bottom, and then we've just got something similar. It's actually just one additional piece of redstone feeding into this block, which will then depower this redstone torch, and that'll help that piston to tract there. So that was fairly simple on this side and the redstone required. So now we've got to work out the two tricky ones, and that's these two pistons. But you can see this one comes down, that one goes left, so we now just need to work out the right and the up pistons. All right, we've got part 3 out of 4 finished here, actually. So what we ended up doing here was we'll just run a split off of this line that brings us up, loops around into the back side of this block, which will then depower this redstone torch. And now we just need to work out the redstone for this last one. All right, and that's why you always need to check your redstone from all angles, because we learned a little bit of an issue we were having here when trying to activate the redstone from the opposite side. It was not triggering from this pressure plate, or it wasn't triggering these 3 pistons. So, and it turns out because of the signal strength of redstone only being limited to 15 blocks, we ended up needing to run that line across over here as well. So now, regardless of which of our 4 pressure plates we stand on either side, we will end up activating the pistons for the system and cause the door to open and close. So now we just need to work out the wiring for this last piston here. Alright, well, it's a little unconventional, and there's probably, if not absolutely, a way to compact this down quite a bit more. But what I was aiming for is confining the redstone wiring within a box or an opening that isn't taken any more than 1 block away from our pressure plates here. But we do have it. So as a review here, we have our redstone torch here that runs off of a line underneath this pressure plate and loops back around to depower this torch. So we've got that one. We have a one redstone line jumper that runs underneath this piston and depowers the block, powering the torch that the piston oversees over here. We ran a line underneath and around and then back up to this torch here, which is going to activate from any of our pressure plates. No, it's not. But now it is. So we now have a line that runs around. This is the most jank of the ones, but you've just got to find a way to make your way up to that. But this will depower that piston there. That causes this one to retract upwards, and then you had seen the redstone wiring that we did around here. So the only thing left to do with this is to close it up and make it look a little more presentable. Alright, so as you can see here with the two projects side by side, this one, because of all the redstone that goes on in it, it does end up being quite a bit bigger even after it has been covered up. But that's just kind of the nature of it. So if you're looking for a standard redstone piston door, of course, this one is going to be your best bet, as it is a lot more compact. But if you're looking for something that might be a little impressive, then, I mean, I don't know, maybe try putting together one a little bit more intricate that does some sort of pattern as it opens. Again, as a disclaimer, I am not a redstone engineer, so if you have thoughts or your own designs of how to get this design more compact, by all means, let me know. But thanks again for watching. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you enjoyed. And we will see you next Saturday for the next Minecraft video, and tomorrow for a Breath of the Wild video. So with all that being said, I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.